All right, all right, all right. We are live. We are live. Sorry for that look around. I just realized that I took off my ring and then forgot to put it on, but we're live now, so it's too late for all of that. Welcome back to my channel. If you are a part of the Bri Hive, welcome back. If you are new to the Bri Hive, welcome to the channel. If you do not know who I am Boss Attorney Bri, and I am a licensed attorney in California where I practice trademark law and family law. And here on this channel, we cover celebrity lawsuits, trademark lawsuits, copyright lawsuits, and really whatever we feel like covering. Today, we are going to be going over one celebrity lawsuit and then a kind of celebrity lawsuit. You can probably guess by the title of the video. Erika Jayne has been sued again, or if you want to call her Erika Girardi, which is her real last name, she has been sued again. And we just covered a case for her for fraud last Thursday. And come this week, she has been sued again. Like, this is ridiculous. The second lawsuit in 1 month. Like, I know that Tom is going through some things. I believe he's in a conservatorship, but they are definitely trying to make sure that they're going to actually get their money by coming directly after his wife and saying basically that she had a hand in it. And some of the language in this complaint, it uses some of the language from last week's complaint. So I'm super excited to get into that. And then we also have, which I mentioned on the last stream, the Love is Blind employment lawsuit. One of the contestants from the Love is Blind from Netflix. I don't know if you guys watch that show, but I watched that show and it's pretty entertaining. But one of the contestants is actually suing Netflix and the other companies that help produce the show, basically for not paying them the right amount of money and some liquidated damages clauses and some other things that we're going to get into in just a little bit. Let me know if you guys have heard about these lawsuits. Like, this new Erika Jayne one is like super new. I found it this morning. Let me double check. When was this filed? Actually, let's see when this was filed. This was filed on the 15th. So just on Friday, she has become sued again. She's sued again. So that's a new lawsuit. And then the Love is Blind lawsuit is pretty new as well. This one was filed on June 29th. So we're going to get into both of those lawsuits. And there's actually another lawsuit that we're going to briefly talk about just because the responses to it is pretty petty and I thought it was funny. And we'll probably cover this lawsuit a little further down the line. It's a trademark lawsuit, so I do like to cover those. But if you have a sweet tooth, we are going to be covering that case where Crumble is suing other cookie companies, and another cookie company's executive has some interesting things to say about it on LinkedIn. So we're going to check that out in just a moment. Let me go ahead and go through the chat. If you guys are watching live, go ahead and put your comment in the chat so that we can all introduce each other. And if you're watching on the replay, go ahead and drop in the comments where you're watching from. Okay, so we have Harper Polo, who was here early in the stream, before the stream even started, giving us a thumbs up. Thank you. I hope you're watching live now. We have Amanda saying, hey, Bri. Hello, Amanda. Nice to have you back in the live stream. And Amanda also says, your rose still look pretty perky. Sugar for the win. And the color is fabulous on you. Thank you so much. Yeah, so actually, I just turned around right before this live stream and realized there was no more water in the flowers. So I don't know if the sugar made the flowers drink up the water a little faster or what, but I just added some more water in there and I'll probably add more sugar later because they are looking pretty... Sorry, I turned my head. They are looking pretty good still. So I'm wondering if it's the sugar that did it. Because sometimes these flowers, they do die a little bit fast. But this time they're staying alive pretty good. Okay, Amanda says, I think I remember Emily D. Baker mentioning it quickly on Friday Night Live. We didn't really go into it that much. Yeah, because this thing was just filed. And remember, last Thursday, we went over a different lawsuit that was filed probably the week before. So Erika Jayne is just getting hit left and right with the lawsuits. We have Betsy saying, hey, Bri, listening. Welcome in. Nice to have you back in the live stream. And then we have Sage Moon saying, hey, Bri, Hive, digging your hair. It's so cute. Thank you so much. You know, we got to switch up the hair every once in a while. So if you guys were here last Tuesday, I did let you guys know that I am trying to introduce something new to the stream. I didn't do it last Thursday because I thought it was going to be a long stream, and it ended up not being a long stream. But basically, we're going to be doing a little icebreaker from Reddit and kind of seeing what you guys think about these situations. I'm going to try to keep them related to business and trademark and things that we actually cover on this channel, but some things are going to go a little bit out of that realm and just kind of moral, if you guys think it's morally right, or to kind of talk about other areas of law. For instance, this one that we're going to cover today actually goes into like estate planning and making sure that you have your wills and your trust all together. So just a little bit of overlap. So no trademark or business. It's related to business, but also has to do with trust and wills and things like that a lot more. So we're going to go ahead and share the story. Make sure you guys are listening carefully because this one is a couple of paragraphs. So I want to make sure that you remember everything that I'm saying. I'm going to go ahead and do the poll. And it's the am I the a-hole? So we're going to say a-hole. And I'm abbreviating it AITA. Am I the a-hole? And then he did it for making his son split his late wife's, or his, I guess he was a widow, making his son split inheritance of a business that was started by his mom with the dad's new wife and new stepson. So not biological son, but stepson. So I'm going to put, am I the a-hole for making my son share his mom's business with his stepmom and stepbrother? Okay, so we're going to say yes as yes. A-hole. We're going to put AH for a-hole, which we also know AH also stands for Amber Heard, but today we are using it for a-hole. No, a-hole. And neutral. We'll go neutral. Neutral as to whether you are the a-hole, because this is a tough topic. I can see his reasoning, but I think ultimately we might we'll see what you guys decide, because I already have my decision. I want to know what your decision is. So I'm going to go ahead and put the poll up, but make sure you listen to the story before you actually vote. And we're going to go ahead and share the post. So we have, boom, here we go. This looks a little ugly, but that's okay. We're still here. Is that big enough? I think that's a little bigger. Okay, so it says, am I the a-hole for telling my son that he'll have to share his late mom's business with his stepmom and sibling? This is a stepbrother. I don't know why they put sibling, but okay. I, 48 male, have a 19-year-old son who was the product of my first marriage. When my son was 9, my late wife passed away from cancer. When we were both 25, she had to use 80% of her inheritance to buy a gas station. She quit her job for 5 years, focused on the gas station. The first few years were rough and we needed the money I made from my job as a waiter to supplement our lifestyle. So he had to contribute financially while his wife was trying to build up the business, which normally is pretty normal. You still have to work even if your partner is trying to build up a business. So I don't know why he included that information of, oh, we had to use my waiter's salary to supplement the income. That's a little normal. 2-income households are very normal nowadays. Okay. In the 2 years before her death, I became involved in the day-to-day operations. In her will, the gas station was left entirely to me, so entirely to the dad. However, she indicated that she hoped I could teach my son about the business because while some families pass down homes, this was her legacy. I have since remarried to my wife, 42 female. She has a 15-year-old son from a previous relationship who I consider my own. The business is smooth enough that we can mostly be absentee owners. My wife, however, has been working there for all day every Saturday for a while now. So the new wife works there one day a week, all day. She often brings my stepson to work. So the stepson also goes to work for one day a week. Regretfully, I was too wrapped up with life's events to spend much time teaching my son about the business. So this is the son whose mom actually passed away, not his stepson. I recently have become sick, and my wife has constantly brought up my will, and so has my older son. We have had many fights where she had stormed out and not come back for hours when I told her that my late wife wanted her son to get the gas station eventually. Because the medication I take gives me feelings of anxiety and depression, it is extra painful when my wife will not want to talk to me because she is upset. She said that it was not fair to my stepson that I tell him I consider him my son, yet I would not be leaving part ownership of the business, our greatest marital asset and legacy, to him. I had originally set up my will so that all my assets outside the business would go to my wife, and then she'd get 10% of the gas station. My other assets would give her around half of my estate, and the business stake was just in case she needed more financial stability. My stepson gets a trust, but the remaining 90% would go to my son. So basically, his son from the wife who made this business would get 90% ownership in the business. His new wife will get 10% ownership in the business, and the stepson will have a trust with other money, wherever it comes from, but no stake in the business. And the wife is a little upset that her son is not going to get a piece of this business. The dad goes on to say, but I feel torn because I really do not know what is right anymore. After a heart-to-heart, I changed my will so that my wife, stepson, and son would each have 1/3 of the business. The rest of my will remain the same. So now his biological son only gets 1/3 of the business instead of 90% of the business. And he did not mention that his son would get anything else other than that stake in the business. I'm not sure, but so far he hasn't mentioned his son will get anything else. When my son got home from college, I decided to take him out so we could be alone. I broke the news to him gently so that he would have to split the business equally with his stepmother and stepbrother. He was silent for a long time. He told me he believed his stepmom would end up trying to force sell with his stepbrother eventually. He then said it didn't come as a shock to him, but he was sure his late mother would have been surprised and told me to think on that. Then he walked out and has avoided me since. So he goes on to ask, am I the a-hole for doing what I have done? I already see the tension in the house, and I feel like I always come home and walk into the aftermath of an argument between my son and his stepmom. So what do you guys think? This dad was given a business by his wife who ended up passing away. He remarried. He has a stepson, and he has a son from the first marriage who the wife that passed away told him to give the business to her biological son when he was old enough, and that he was supposed to teach him how to run the business. And the dad just decided not to run the business or teach him how to run the business. So go ahead and vote in the poll and let me know whether you guys think that he is an a-hole. Should he have taught his son how to run the business? Should the stepson and the stepmother get 1/3 of a business that the son's mother started before their marriage? Should they really get a piece of that business? He had provided for them in other ways. He has given them trust funds, other assets, whatever it is. Did the stepmom and the stepbrother deserve a part of the son's business? We'll see. Now, the reason why I chose this story is because I'm thinking of a trust. The mother probably would have been better off, the one that passed away. She probably would have been better off if she would have just established a trust, allowing the father of her son to run the business until the son was old enough to guarantee that her son will actually get the actually be able to run the business and own the business, and not really rely on the dad to do those things for him. And so a lot of times when people are married, they'll give things, if you pass away, you'll give things to your spouse thinking that they'll take care of your kid, but your kid was only 9 years old. Now your spouse has remarried and now he has other obligations. If the wife would have had a will or a trust that put dad into place to take care of the business up until the son was old enough, then he wouldn't have this problem. The son wouldn't have this problem. He would be the owner of the business and he can decide what to do with it. But dad, like most people, after someone passes away, after a couple of years, you remarry, and then you also want to take care of those family members, and you end up giving away something that what's technically yours to give away, but what your late wife asked you not to give away. So definitely, if you guys haven't thought about it and you have assets and you're still young and your spouse might move on and you haven't thought about having a trust or a will, very much so think about getting those things put together so that the your kids can have what you intend to give them. Don't just rely on someone. I know you love them right now. Don't just rely on someone to give your kid what you want them to get. Also, if you pass away without a will, all of your separate property. So she started this during the marriage, so he would have gotten half anyways, and then the son would have gotten half, which would have been more than what he got from the dad's new will if she just didn't have a will at all. But if she would have put in the will that it was 100% her son's, or even 90% her son's, and the dad can have 10%, that would have been a whole different story. So I know I kind of rambled there, but I was just caught up in that. So we have people voting in the poll. Let me know. We got quite a lot of votes already. So let's see what the chat has to say, and then we'll read off the poll. So if you guys have not voted already, go ahead and vote in the poll. Let me know whether you think this dad was an a-hole for making his son, his biological son, share his business that his mother created with his new stepbrother and new stepmom. So I'll give you guys a chance to do that, and then we will see. We have Jennifer Miller joining us back in the live stream. Hello there, saying hello, everyone. Cooking dinner, so listening in. Okay, I hope it's something tasty. You always have something tasty going on around there. Okay, we have Amanda saying, Bri, I have a question for you. I understand you do business and trademark. How much does that differ from patents? Patents is completely different. Patents, you actually have to take an entirely new bar in order to do patents. When you're dealing with patents, it's more invention. So you generally, you do have to have a science background in order to even be eligible to take the patent bar. So it still overlaps because a lot of people making inventions have businesses and they also need trademarks. So it could go together, but in order to practice patents, you do need an additional bar license in addition to your state bar license. So it's different in that respect, and it's very complicated and very scientific. But generally, businesses, trademarks, patents do go together if you are creating something that needs a patent. Okay, we have Jennifer Miller saying, welcome, buzz the like, subscribe, and join buttons to pollinate Bri's channels, or to pollinate the channel. Bri streams Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. Yes, exactly, guys. If you have been here for a while and you have not hit the like button yet, go ahead and hit the like button to help out the channel and help out this video in the algorithm so that we can get some more friends in the Bri Hive. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, because I have been struggling to get out of the 900, or what is it, 7,970,000 subscribers. We want to get to 8,000. So if you guys can, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and join the channel to support the channel. You can become a member and you get cool little badges, emojis, things like that. And it's $5 a month, and it actually supports the channel. Some of these complaints that we go over on the channel, I do have to pay for. So any donation that you guys make definitely helps out the channel. It helps us get you the content that you guys really want to see. Okay, and then thank you for that, Jennifer. We have Amanda saying, girl, we don't need a poll for that. Yes, he's an a-hole, a slack-jawed toggle dyke. I don't know what that is, but that was that's interesting. Yeah. Just from the title, you got that just from the title, Amanda? Yeah. I'm seeing the poll come in. I'm seeing it come in, and a lot of people are saying he's the a-hole. DeMarcus says, hi, Bri. Hello, and welcome to the live stream. That's a new name I haven't noticed before, so welcome to the live stream. We have Rebecca saying, when my stepdad passed, I think you're going to finish that a little later on. But Z Seltzer saying, playing catch up. That's all good. Happy to have you here. We have Amanda saying, the original way he had the will was fair. The 10% is fine, but the wife can kick rocks. I agree with you there. I definitely agree with you there, especially when he did the 1/3 for each of them. I think the son was correct in saying they're probably going to try to oust him, a hostile takeover, kick him out, because they have 66% share and he only has 33%, and the business was started by his mom. Like, that's completely not fair. But the mom should have given it to her son in the will and not the dad. People find new love, especially if she passed away when he was 9 and the kid is now in college, so at least 10 years later, he found someone else, and now he wants to take care of that family, which is fair if you are, in a marriage, but you shouldn't be giving away your other spouse's things to your new spouse and her kid, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Okay, Rebecca says, when my stepdad passed, his daughter got all of his mineral oil leases because that's what he wanted to happen. I was his caregiver as my mom wasn't able to do many of the things he needed. My stepsister lived out of state. It's what he wanted, so that's what happened. No question. Exactly. You take care of who you want to take care of when it's yours. And the thing is, it became the dad. So technically, he could give it away that way. But was it fair to the son whose mom, he lost his mom, and now he also lost his stakes in his own business that his mom wanted him to have? Sage Moon says, what he originally set up was fair, in my opinion. Sound like the new wife emotional manipulation to get the stepson and her a piece of the business. And it's not like stepmom and stepson work there all the time. He said they work there on Saturdays, just on Saturdays. So that's not like they're putting in a lot of work to earn their stake. They just were given it because he happened to marry her. And it's not his blood son. It's some other man's blood son. And he's giving him this business just for being his mother's son, right? And I guess he's grown a close bond with him, but still, I don't know. I don't know if the stepson deserves it. Sorry. Not cool to do that to his first son. Definitely the a-hole. I think a lot of people agree with you. We have Grace J. Welcome to the live stream, saying, I think the biological son should get to decide. That is a good option. Okay, we have Jennifer saying she should have left the business in a trust for her son so her idiot husband couldn't do this. The steps need to get over it. Yes, and that is why it's super important. I know we all do not anticipate, or we do not want to pass away before our significant others, and we hope that if we do pass away and they do find someone new, if we're okay with them finding someone new. I know we don't have control over it, but they're gonna find someone new, right? Assuming that they're okay with it, you want to make sure that you have that locked in. You should trust your partner, but if you pass away before them, you can't always trust that they won't then move on. So I honestly think that she should have had a trust or a will that just let the dad run it while the child was a minor, something of that nature, and then so that it can go to her son like she wanted to. The mom probably thought the dad just wasn't going to move on. So sorry for that to them or to him. Amanda says, Rebecca, I can see him leaving that. Depending on how much care you provided, I hope he compensated you fairly for that. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. I see a lot of times where there are kids in the family and then there's a caregiver. One of them is a caregiver, and then you end up getting everything and then the family is mad. But I'm glad that you didn't make a big deal out of it, knowing that you were the caregiver and he still gave it to I think the sister, so to your stepsister. So that's good that you were able to handle that as an adult for sure. Daz Beat, welcome back to the live stream, saying I put neutral because it depends if the son had the capacity to run it. I didn't catch the full story. So the son is in college. There doesn't seem to be like any reason why he couldn't run it, but the mother that passed away did request for the father to teach the son how to run the business. However, the father does admit that he did not teach the son how to run the business because he got too wrapped up in other things. So he basically did not make an effort to teach his own son how to run the business, but he allowed the stepson, well, I guess the stepson just kind of tagged along, but the stepson would go with the stepmom, so with the stepson's mother. Amanda says to Jennifer, exactly, that is the way I felt it should have done too, but new wife sounds quite manipulative. Yeah, new wife should have just let it be. She should have just let it go. But the thing, he had a will. If he didn't have a will, new wife would have got half anyways. She would have got half, and then the son would have got half. But since he had a will, she would have only had that 10%, which he should have left it that way. I think he should have left it that way. Okay, Jennifer says, I would haunt my husband if he pulled this mess. That's how I feel. Like, why do you want a new wife, and why do you want to give her stuff? That's mine. It's mine. I've seen some other Reddits as well where people are giving things away of someone that passed away to like stepchildren instead of like their biological children. It just doesn't make sense. Like, oh, the mom had a ruby ring or something and she wanted her first daughter to have it. It's supposed to be passed down to the first daughter. And then here comes the stepmom and the stepdaughter saying, oh, so you do not think that I'm your real daughter? It's not about you, man, because it's usually a husband. And it's usually a mom that passes away that wants something to go to her first daughter or her first son or whatever it might be. And the dad would have a stepkid and say, oh, well, aren't I your first, or since I'm older, aren't I the first daughter? It's like, you might be my first daughter if I want to claim you as a stepchild to be my real child, but you're not the person that passed away who has the tradition's daughter. You can't just step in for the parent that's not your parent. Like, you have a mom, but you want your step siblings' mom's heirlooms. It doesn't make sense. I hope that makes sense of what I'm trying to explain. But yeah, I never get that. Don't give your passed away spouse things to your new stepchildren. If you have biological children, who that parent wanted those things to go to. Okay. Because it's the mom's biological kid. The mom's biological kid. You may get new kids, but the mom did not get new kids. Okay? I hope that makes sense. I'm not trying to be offensive to anyone, but I hope that makes sense. Okay, Z Seltzer saying about the flowers, when you change the water, cut the stem about 2 to 3 inches to freshen them up. Okay, I did not know to do that. So I am learning new things about flowers, which I should, because one of my emojis is a sunflower. So one day we're going to have to get some sunflowers back there. We're going to have to tweet at Alpha for that or something. Okay, we have Betsy saying, money creates such conflict. I like the idea of giving the biological son 90% and the stepmother and her son 10%. Yeah, they could have split the 10% because when the stepmom dies, that 10% is probably going to that son. If the dad, well, because the dad is sick, so he's probably going to pass away, or that's what they're anticipating is for him to pass away. So yeah, he's going to get the 10% anyway. So they could have split the 10%. But if biological son didn't agree with that, then just give him 100%. Yeah, because 100% was supposed to go to him, because I'm sure his mom was not expecting for dad to get a new wife and give away her business to his new wife. Yeah, don't do things like, if the person was still here, would you do that thing? That would be the question. If the person was still here, would you do that thing? And I think the son mentioned it and said, if mom saw this, she would be surprised and tell you to think about it. At least mom wouldn't say just no. But yeah, if the person was here, if you were still married to this lady, would you give this new lady her business? No, you would not. So don't do it when she passes away. And she asked you. She asked you not to do that. Okay. Moving on. We have Jennifer Miller saying chicken tacos for Taco Tuesday. That sounds delicious. I think I'm going to make some chicken later on too, but I'm going to eat salad because I like to eat too much on the weekends and it's making me gain weight. So we're eating chicken and salad on over here. All right, we have Sage Moon saying, agree with you, Bri. A trust would have protected her son, the business, and their legacy. Yep, can't rely on others to make the right choice, especially when you are not there. You want to trust them and you love them while you're there, but 10, 12 years later, which it sounds like this is what this is, people's minds change, especially when you have a new wife convincing you to do things that you're not supposed to be doing, according to the other wife. Okay. Sage Moon says, anything can happen. They could not respect your wishes or do what you want, like this case. Exactly. Exactly. And we have Saban Sar, welcome to the live stream, saying, the kid lost his mom. He should at least be able to trust his dad to honor his mom's wishes, to take care of him. That is absolutely true. The least you can do is honor the son's mother and allow his son to have something, because not only did the bio son lose his mother, but if dad passes away and gives part of his business away to stepmom and stepson, he literally has nothing. He has 1/3 of a business that his new step people can kick him out of. He doesn't have parents anymore, right? Because that's the only way the stepmom and the son will get the things if the dad passes away. So now he won't have any parents. We don't know how close he is to the stepmom, especially after this situation. I can only assume that he's not close to the stepmom. So the least they could have gave him was his business, right? And the thing is, he gave the stepmom and the stepson other things. They had other things. They didn't need the business, but the business must be pretty lucrative. Amanda says, before I got married, I bought a house on my own, have my 3 dogs, etc. I have a heart health scare. I had everything detailed out. There were care instructions for my dogs with what they like and personalities. Yeah, you can do a pet trust as well, a will for your pets as well, and have your pets taken care of. And some people will do that, and then their family members get mad because it's like, I'm spending $3,000 on a pet, which to them it's not important, but that pet was important to that person when they passed away. So definitely I've seen that several times. And people do not like when you take care of animals over people, for sure. Rebecca is responding to Amanda. You guys are having a little chat there. And we have Simon Sar says, the wife who is still alive can work to provide for her son. Exactly. This dishonors his son and the woman who started the business. Exactly. Exactly. You are exactly right. You are spitting facts tonight. And then we have Seven Star also saying she didn't just leave it to someone. She trusted her husband to carry out. Yes, exactly. Carry out her wishes and provide for their son. And now he has taken it away from the son. Okay. I did not think this one would get so much interaction, but I'm having so many chats and we got 2 cases to get through. So I'm going to go ahead and read off the poll and see what you guys had to say. And then I'll probably do a couple more chats, and then we're going to jump into the lawsuits, because we have actually 3 lawsuits we're going to discuss, but 2 of them that we're going to go over the complaint, and the complaints are quite long. So let's see. Am I the a-hole for making my son share his mom's business with his stepmom and stepbrother? The options were yes, the a-hole, no, not the a-hole, and then neutral, the a-hole. And we have 92% saying yes, this person is the a-hole. And then we have 8% saying neutral as to whether they're the a-hole or not. And no one said no, not the a-hole. So we are leaning more towards, yes, he was the a-hole. He should have, some people have suggested that he should have let the son choose. He should have honored his late wife's wishes. I understand keeping your current wife happy. He put his uncomfortability above his own son's uncomfortability. And I think a lot of people understand that you're supposed to put your kids first. You can't just, abandon your kid, especially when it's something that came from the kid's bio mom. Like, it's not an heirloom or anything like that, but she wanted that business to go to him. He could have at least honored it. He didn't want to feel anxiety and depression and things like that. So he put his own needs above his own son's needs and his ability to survive. We don't know. Maybe the son was going to school to learn how to run a business effectively. And now all of a sudden he doesn't have a business. So what is he going to do? And then now he doesn't have any parents. I feel for the son. I definitely feel for the son. We have Jennifer saying, my sister was my mom's caregiver because her kids are grown. If my parents left her more than me, I would agree and understand that's fair. I agree with that. And it's good to be a good adult about it. Like, hey, let's be realistic here. My parents aren't sick, but my mom tells me that she'll leave my brother and sister more than me and my older sister because of the careers that we have versus the careers that my siblings have. She has told me that, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. I guess I gotta go to work. I understand. I do have a career where, you can earn a lot of money versus people that might not have that career. So I feel like money comes and goes. So stuff like that doesn't matter to me. If my parents give more money to my siblings or me or whatever, I don't care. Maybe if I was like 10, if I was like 10 years old, I would care. But at this age, no. It's whatever. I have to earn my own money anyway, so it's okay. Amanda says, hey, I would win the ruby ring argument. It's my birthday on July 26th. Oh, it's almost your birthday. Hey, birthday. Okay, we need like a little confetti thing. I need to get an intro made for these live streams, and I need to get like some sound effect graphics and things made for this live stream. I need to make this more of a production than I have it right now. So I'm going to think about doing those things or try to get those things together. We have Betsy dropping the sunflower emoji. Thanks for the support. And we have Jennifer saying, hi, Piper. I love you. I didn't see a Piper come in, but hello, Piper. It must be a name. Oh, is that your child? Coming in saying hi to Jennifer Miller, saying hi, Mom. How sweet. That's so sweet. Okay, we have Amanda saying exactly. The mom wanted to go to her son. She didn't get a new wife. Exactly. She did not get a new wife or a new stepson. She only has one son. She didn't get any more kids. It's not up to her to provide for her husband's subsequent life choices. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Rebecca says it's too hot to cook anything. We had chicken salad sandwiches for dinner. That sounds good. Maybe I'm just hungry because I didn't really eat that much today other than like fruits and things. Z Seltzer says, could the son sue dad for 50% that he should have legally inherited at death of his mom? No, it will be too late for that, one. And two, since she had it in a will, that overrides any like state law. So I'm saying 50% is what he would have got for like interstate if she died without a will. But that's for California rules. I don't know what the rules are in other states. And on top of that, the will override. So the person wants will override whatever the state laws would be. So that's the purpose of making your will, making sure that it goes to the people that you actually want it to go to. And mom probably should not have trusted this husband that much because apparently I was going to say something mean, but apparently he couldn't handle the depression and anxiety of his wife not talking to him and made him give away his son's business, which is bad. But technically, like I said, that business is considered his separate property because his wife that passed away gave it to him fully when she passed away. So before his new marriage, it would be considered separate property. And remember, guys, I'm talking under California law. So this could vary state by state. All right. So we have Amanda saying he should put it back to the current wife earning 10% of profits for a set number of years, but by no means should she get any amount of ownership. That is a smart idea. I did not think about that. I think that's a very, very smart idea. So she can have some payment to kind of take care of her while if he passes away early, and then she has to figure it out after that. That's smart. And then Jennifer says that's her oldest daughter. Yay! We have a daughter joining the stream. Welcome to the stream, Piper. I like that name, Piper. I like that name. Okay, we are going to go ahead and jump into the cookie lawsuit. Have you guys heard about this lawsuit? This is a lawsuit from Crumble Cookies. They are suing two other cookie companies called Dirty Dough, which is one of the cookie places. And then the other one is Crave Cookies, and they're suing for copyright infringement. And so we're probably going to cover this case maybe on Thursday. If I should have time on Thursday to cover this case, but I did want to look at this case because as I was researching cases to cover, this one popped up, and then I came across the tweets from one of the owners talking about the lawsuit. So I wanted to read some of those tweets to you guys. So we have Cookie Crumble recently filed lawsuits against two companies claiming copyright infringement. Crumble claimed that the startup company Dirty Dough and Crave Cookies had similar logos and packaging to Crumble. So that's what they're suing about. And then we're going to go ahead and look at this guy's tweets. We have Bennett Maxwell. Oh, I thought this was the owner, but I guess it's just someone else. I don't know who this is. I want to say it's the owner, but I don't know. Okay. But Bennett Maxwell goes ahead and tweets, or not tweets, but this is on LinkedIn, says Crumble Cookies is suing Dirty Dough and Craves Cookies. $1 billion company suing two startups. Why? Because apparently if you put sprinkles on your cookies. Oh, I thought I was sharing with you guys. My bad. There we go. There we go. Apparently, if you put sprinkles on your cookies, Crumble thinks they own that. Watch out, Grandma. You better throw away those sprinkles or you will be Crumble's next victim. The link to the actual lawsuits and details on the baseless and untrue claims in the comments. Oh, I need to find this post so that I can get the complaint because they want me to pay for it, but he apparently has it for free. So I'm going to have to find that actual LinkedIn post. Okay, yeah, it is the owner. Okay, so Bennett Maxwell, owner of Dirty Dough, responded to the lawsuit first on LinkedIn. Why? Because apparently if you put sprinkles on your cookie, Crumble thinks they own that. I don't know. I just thought that was very petty. He then goes on to LinkedIn. I was going to say tweet, but he LinkedIn. He says, Crumble Cookies, I love your billboards. How do you like ours? Despite the lawsuit, I still love your waffle cookie and patiently wait for it to come back into rotation. Which billboard do you like best? My favorite is the second one down. And then it goes Utah Cookie Wars, hashtag. He says, cookies so good, we're being sued. Another one says, can't hurt our feelings, spelled like, when you fill things with, icing and stuff. And then our cookies don't crumble with competition. So they're just kind of being very petty and leaving LinkedIn comments back to Crumble because they're trying to sue them. And like I said, I want to cover this case a little later on, not later on, but probably Thursday. But basically Crumble is like a cookie place where they have like special flavors and then they switch out the flavors every week. And I think it's like you have like 6 to choose from. I want to say my sister worked at Crumble for like a couple of weeks, or one of these cookie companies that do the same thing. So I thought it was funny because I was familiar with the company because my sister worked there. And then the LinkedIn post, like, I feel like that's something more Twitter, where you're kind of being petty back to the person suing you. I feel like that's more on Twitter. Like I said, we'll probably actually cover their complaint and what they're actually alleging that they did wrong. Because, right, putting sprinkles on a cookie, you don't own that. But they do have some pretty what do you call it? They have some pretty unique cookies. Like, they'll make, well, I guess it's not that unique because they're just using like Lucky Charms on a cookie and marshmallow and all kinds of, they just make crafty cookies, right? So we can go into like the actual what they explain their greatness to be when we go over the complaint. Okay, let's see what the comments are saying. We have Amanda saying, wait, son, oh, we're still on the post from Reddit. Oh, I forgot to do the marker. Sorry, I'm having some ADD moments here. Um, wait, son is currently of age. Dad could just transfer the title to his son now. Exactly. But then he wouldn't be able to pay for his life while he's still alive. That's probably why he won't. But I mean, he could just transfer himself profits in order to keep taking care of the family. But my opinion is, my guess would be that that gas station is making a lot of money and he doesn't want to give up any of it. Okay. And then the wife has no more manipulation leverage. Well, she could just divorce him because he got rid of what she wanted. So it could still be manipulation. And apparently, this guy can't handle having anxiety from his wife not talking to him. So he probably would be very distraught if she tried to divorce him for giving away the business. But it would make sense for him to just give the son the business outright, like the mom wanted. And then there wouldn't be a fight at the will time. We have Jennifer Miller saying, yes, Amanda, I would probably start a fight though. Yes, exactly. As far as the selling of the company goes. And we have Amanda responding to Jennifer saying, nothing short of giving her everything is gonna mitigate a fight. Exactly. And even then, it may not. She's probably just gonna take her son's portion, the 1/3 he gave to her son. She'll probably take that too. She seems to like the money. Sabrina says, just join a hi. Hey, hi. Well, welcome back to the live stream. Nice to see you again. I hope you get all the details in the Reddit story. And then also this cookie lawsuit. We're only on the first lawsuit of the night, which was short because it was just a short post, but we're going to get into the long complaints in a minute. We have Amanda saying Dirty Dough is a great name for a cookie company. Yeah, I like it. It's creative and its owner is over here very spicy on LinkedIn. I wasn't expecting to find these types of I want to call them tweets, but I wasn't expecting to find these kind of posts on LinkedIn. But he's a spicy one. Spicy, Mr. What's his name? Matthew or Maxwell or Bennett Maxwell. Gave him a whole different name. Amanda also says that isn't petty. That is a marketing genius. Yes, a lot of big companies do stuff like this where they're like call each other out, like Wendy's and McDonald's and Taco Bell. They'll like call each other out. And it's great marketing because people like the drama. We like the drama. Okay, Amanda says genius. Stiff fingers. Okay, we have Jennifer Miller saying cookie fight. I'm here for it. Exactly. I love cookies. I love sweets. That's my problem. I love desserts too much. And we have Tanya D popping into the live stream. Hey, and welcome back to the live stream, our moderator and member of the channel. We missed you. Where have you been? You don't have to answer that. Okay, Jennifer saying, hey to Tanya. And Tanya saying, I will have to catch the replay. This cookie story sounds interesting. Yeah, I only covered a little bit of it. I think I'm going to actually cover it on Thursday, so we'll get a little bit more detail and we can re-look at these LinkedIn posts, which I'm going to try to find those LinkedIn posts so that I can steal the complaint from them. Oh, he probably didn't have to pay for the complaint because he was actually being sued. So that's why he didn't have to buy it from Pacer. Okay. All right. So let's check out the next one. Do you guys want to cover Erika Girardi, which we covered on Thursday? She's being sued again. For those of you that were not at the beginning of the live stream, she is being sued again. This is a completely new lawsuit than the one that we covered on Thursday. Or do you want to cover the Love is Blind complaint? And so I forget who said it in the last live stream. I asked if you guys wanted to cover the Love is Blind lawsuit, and someone said, yes, reality TV cover all the lawsuits. And so I just researched reality TV lawsuits, and there are actually kind of a lot. So we might make that our thing on this channel, because I know trademarks, copyrights can be a little boring for people that don't practice it every day. But I think the reality TV show lawsuits are, I think they would be good. And when I did the research, or not the research, when I tried to find the case, they actually, Netflix has quite a lot of lawsuits against them in Los Angeles. So let me know if you guys will be interested in going over some more. This one is an employment lawsuit. And they have several other ones with similar claims. So we might have a lot of content on the LA Superior Court website. All right. We have Jennifer saying, I can't have gluten anymore, so I need to find good gluten-free cookies. I don't know how I could live without gluten. I don't even know what gluten is, but it seems like they take it out of all the good stuff. So I don't want to have to eat gluten-free. Basically, Amanda says to Jennifer, oof, good luck. What about maybe just making Chex Muddy Buddies? Some of the Chex flavors are gluten-free, right? I have no idea, so I can't answer that question. Dasby says you can at least glass over the Girardi one. Okay, gloss over the sorry, I said glass, but gloss over Girardi. Yeah, because she's sued again, similar things. Dav says I also want to hear the Netflix one. Okay, perfect. Jane, welcome back to the live stream. Every time I mention Erika Jayne, here comes Jane, and it's spelled the same way as Erika Jayne spells it. Saying, hey, Bri and Bri Hive, was driving during the Reddit discussion. Awesome. Well, we are happy to have you here in the chat today. Jane also says, I'm from Canada. I don't know any of these cookies companies. Yeah, from what I've had, and I might be confusing them, and this is probably why they are suing these other companies, but I think I've had Crumble or Crave or both, but I don't really remember. They do have similar marketing styles. Tanya says, hey to Jane, and Jennifer says, gluten is protein in wheat. It makes my tummy very sick. Yeah, I have a friend who, is it celiac? Is that what it's called when you can't eat gluten? So that was very interesting, trying to find meals that we both can eat. But yeah, I like bread a lot. I like cookies. Bad things. I like bad things. I feel like gluten is anything that you would consider like a bad dietary option. I feel like gluten is in. So I'm sorry that you can no longer have the cookies and the cupcakes and all the gluten-y things. And I hope that you're able to find some alternatives, some gluten-free cookies. But I hope you can find it. I like cookies a lot, if you guys can't tell. Oh gosh. Okay, so let's go ahead and gloss over, like Dav's Beat says, let's gloss over it because it's a lot. And honestly, I didn't really look at it all the way before getting on this live stream, so it may be a good idea to gloss over it. But you guys know how I get the reading, and I like to read all of the words. Okay, so we have we have Christina Fulton. Do you guys know Christina Fulton? I'm not too familiar with her, but I'm going to read the description that she gave of herself because I thought it was very interesting. That we'll get to it in a second. Okay. We have Miss Christina Fulton, an individual, suing our good sis Erika Girardi, who is an individual, EJ Global LLC, Pretty Mess Inc., which is a corporation. I think that's Erika Girardi's as well. Samantha Gold, John Kelly Courtney. He has like 3 first names as a name, but they're 2 ladylike first names as this one, John Kelly Courtney. Those are 3 first names, right? And those 1 through 25. So anyone who they forgot to list, that could be added to the complaint later. This is a California Superior Court case in LA, and they are suing for receipt of stolen property, suing Erika Girardi for receipt of stolen property, conversion, constructive trust, money had and received, accounting, a lot of money things, guys, unjust enrichment, declaratory relief, breach of fiduciary duty, breach of contract, professional negligence, in quotation marks, legal malpractice, fraud, and breach of settlement agreement. So more fraud against Miss Erika Girardi, and they're demanding for a jury trial. So our good sis Erika, this is the second lawsuit in like the last 2 weeks, and it's also with fraud. Like I stated earlier, I believe that Tom Girardi is in a conservatorship, so people are suing Erika Jayne in order to make sure that they actually get the money that they're looking for, because Tom cannot really do anything to help them out. So they're suing Erika. Poor Erika. She was one of my favorite housewives. So yes, hello, honey. Can you bring me my ring? I forgot it because I was doing my makeup. Thanks. All right, back to the conversation. Yeah, Erika Jayne was one of my favorite housewives, and now she's being sued left and right. Okay, so let's go ahead and check it out. I just want to read some of the parties here because the way that this lady describes herself, I'm like, what do you actually do? Okay, so we have plaintiff Christina Fulton is and at all times material hereto was an individual residing in Los Angeles, California. Miss Fulton is an innocent victim of fraud and theft perpetuated by Thomas Girardi and his wife Erika Girardi. Miss Fulton is a well-known Hollywood figure who has a child with an Academy Award-winning actor, Nicolas Cage. Okay, so what does she do? She's just a Hollywood figure that had a baby. She doesn't do anything else. I don't think that's a good way to what? It should be on the it's not by my makeup. It should be by my makeup. On the bathroom counter. See? Where was it?
Like behind the jail.
It was on the bathroom counter?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So where were we at? Yeah, she just said that she's what do you call it? She said a Hollywood figure who has a child with Nicolas Cage. So her child is what is making her relevant at this point. I didn't like that. Be your own woman. That's how I feel. Okay. And then they go on to list some of the other people. Trying to see if this business. Okay, so this business is also owned by Erika Jayne. So EG Global LLC was formed in 2018 and owned exclusively by Erika. Defendant Erika is the only manager and the sole 100% member. So they're trying to get the money out of her LLCs and corporations as well. And then there's more information basically saying that it's her alter ego, Pretty Mess, and this EJ Global is her alter ego. And basically, we should pierce the corporate veil and hold Erika Jayne liable for any bad things that they did. So this is why it's also very important if you guys have businesses and you have an LLC to actually act as the LLC and not just as your person with an alter ego, because they can still sue you even though you have what do you call it? a LLC or a corporation. So make sure you're actually compliant with the rules of LLCs and corporations if you have businesses. All right. So let's check out some of the factual allegations, see what this lady is alleging here. This is a really long complaint. I didn't have time to go over it, honestly, before we got here. So yeah, okay. The allegations are a couple of pages long, so we should be able to go through that. And then we'll be able to go on to the next one. Okay, where did I go here? Where are you? Okay, factual allegations. I forgot to do the little bookmarker thing again. Okay, let's try it this time. Okay, bookmark. Okay, we got it. All right. Here we go. Factual allegations. In 2016, plaintiff retained Girardi Keese and Thomas Girardi to represent her in connection with claims based on severe injuries she sustained in an automobile accident on or about January 1st, 2016. Girardi's representation resulted in confidential settlement agreement dated March 18, 2019. The settlement agreement provided a release for plaintiff to exchange for a consideration of $924,300. That is a big settlement amount. I wonder what kind of injury she suffered, because that is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Gold was plaintiff's point of contact. Okay, sorry. Gold was plaintiff's point of contact and the primary counsel for plaintiff's case. There are numerous communications from Gold to third parties indicating Gold had knowledge of the medical liens and disbursements of settlement amounts. So it sounds like Samantha Gold is the lawyer that kind of pushed her case forward, and she would have been in charge of making sure that this lady actually got her settlement amount. Gold signed the settlement agreement above, acknowledged of confidentiality and non-disparagement and consent to be bound by the same. Courtney was the senior attorney working the file. He was included in emails related to plaintiff's case and settlement, kind of trying to put them in place to be liable on this case. Gold was, already read that one. Courtney, we already read that one too. The details and dates of where plaintiff settlement funds went were just recently discovered through new discovered financial documents. So this is Erika Jayne. This is Erika Jayne again being sued for the conduct of Tom Girardi's lawsuit. Why? Because Erika Jayne is married to, I keep calling her Erika Jayne, but Erika Girardi is married to Tom, and allegedly Tom Girardi was funding Erika's lifestyle through his business accounts. So he's basically stealing money, allegedly stealing money from his clients and giving it to his wife so that she can live a fabulous life on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, allegedly, and be a performer. Okay. Just kind of wanted to make that point there. On July 14th, 2022. So what was this? 5 days ago? 5 days ago. On July 14th, 2022, plaintiff discovered that all of her remaining settlement funds were dissipated and that her Girardi Keese attorneys Gold and Courtney had lied to her. It was just discovered how settlement payments were made. So she found out about this on July 14th and she filed her lawsuit on July 15th. So 1 day later. Was this complaint already in motion? Most likely, but this was a quick turnaround. They discovered what happened and they filed immediately. Okay. On March 29th, 2019, the settlement amount was issued to Girardi Keese and Christina Fulton. On April 8th, 2019, the check was deposited. How much was the check? Okay, they haven't told us yet. The check was deposited into Girardi Keese' Nano bank account ending in 067 or 0567. The check was to be deposited in trust for Christina Fulton. Oh, so this is for the full $950,000. So as we discussed in the last live stream about Erika Girardi, when you are doing work for a client and you have to hold money for them, in California, you are required to have a client trust account, and that money in that account belongs to the client. So usually personal injury attorneys will have this type of account because whenever their client gets paid, the money is paid directly to the law office. And then the law office, I worked in personal injury. I should probably mention that a little bit, right? I worked in personal injury for a while. And so the check goes directly to the law firm, and then the law firm takes the money and they pay off like your medical bills, whatever other bills that you might have had. And then they pay you, and then they take their cut out of it as well. So the check goes to the attorney. It doesn't go straight to the client because the attorney has to make sure all of your bills are actually paid off. So this is what this trust account would be. They would have sent her the $950 some odd $1,000 to Girardi Keese. They would have put it into their trust account, and that's what she's talking about here. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Okay, where are we at? Okay, sorry for saying okay so much and not being ready. Okay, the check was to be deposited into the trust account for Christina Fulton. This was a complete outright forgery by plaintiff, never endorsed the check, and certainly never agreed to have deposited it. She doesn't have that right. She doesn't get to sign the check. If it has the law firm's name on it, the law firm can go ahead and put it into their trust account on her behalf. Okay. The Girardi Keys firm had the audacity to endorse the check to be deposited in trust for Christina Fulton. This negotiated check was in fact a forgery and a lie. The check was never held in trust but spent. It is beyond shocking, and the pale of the firm would conceal the arrival of the check and not obtain Ms. Fulton's endorsement as required by law. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just rereading to see if the check only had her name on it, because that's the only way she could win on that argument. But if it had the law firm's name on it, they would be able to deposit it into their account for her so that they can pay off all the bills. Okay. When a plaintiff settles a case, the funds are to be held in the lawyer's trust account because the funds are the client's money. The lawyer then deducts the fee that was agreed upon with the client, and the remainder is typically remitted immediately to the client, which is what is legally required. And you also have to pay off the medical bills. They skipped that part. Unfortunately for plaintiff, that is not what happened here. Instead, attorneys other than Tom Girardi, who were working on her case, failed to even obtain her signature on the settlement check. Then made and joined affirmative representations to others that the funds were still being held in trust account. It will not be enough to say that even though they represented the money was in the account, they were relying on Girardi Keys when they made those representations. There were no qualifiers in the written representations. Numerous attempts were made to obtain records, emails, and information regarding the other attorneys' roles. The attempts were literally ignored except for one email after weeks of requests by one of the attorneys stating a response will be forthcoming, knowing this lawsuit was imminent. The plaintiff deserved more then and deserves more now. Attorneys, whether they are associates or partners working for the firm, still have a duty to the clients they are serving. They cannot simply avoid legal responsibility by blaming their employer. The law does not provide immunity for attorneys representing clients through a firm versus directly. There is no distinction. So they're basically trying to hold them individually liable because they know that Girardi Keys is not going to be able to pay them out, because remember, they have all of these lawsuits against them and they have no money. There's that one lawsuit that we talked about last case where they have an $11 million judgment against Tom Girardi's law firm, and they are the first creditors. And then you have other creditors and other creditors. So this lady is trying to do the loop around and sue other people that were involved in her case, the attorneys on her case, to pay the amount. I'm not too familiar with that and if she could sue the people, because they are working for the law firm, and the malpractice liability will most likely cover these attorneys. I don't know if the malpractice liability insurance is probably all the way ran up. So I don't know. I don't know how that would work for them. Okay. Sorry. A lot is going to come into play in these lawsuits, and it's just like a lot of things come into my brain all at once. Okay. So she basically doesn't want the attorneys working on her case to get away with not being personally liable, because basically she would just never get her money because she's probably not very high on the creditor list for Girardi Keys. Okay. So moving on. Between April 2019 and September 2020, Girardi paid plaintiff most through a litigation funding company a total of $190,000. So here we are again. Sorry for popping back and forth, but here we are again with this litigation funding company. That means, to me at least, because when you're getting funding and applying for loans and things, you don't have the money. So they're borrowing money to pay her money that they should have already had in their bank account. That is not a good look for them. Not a good look for them. Remember, they were getting litigation funds to go to trial, which is usually how you do it. But now they're getting litigation funds to pay clients when they should have already had the money because the check was sent to them by the insurance company. This case is making me mad. Maybe we should have saved this one for last. Okay. The last check plaintiff received from Girardi was in September 2020. This was part of a lulling pattern for Tom Girardi to dupe his clients into waiting for money by dribbling small payments. It is typically used in a fraud scheme by criminals. Okay. In addition, prior to settlement, Girardi advanced plaintiff $5,000. What is $5,000 going to do to almost $1 million settlement? After crediting the $195,000 plaintiff received, the outstanding balance of the settlement that was still due and owed to plaintiff from Girardi was $744,300 settlement funds, in parentheses. Okay. In May 2019, Gold, this is all out of order, but in May 2019, Gold misrepresented to another attorney that the settlement funds had not yet been dispersed, when in fact 3 checks were dispersed to Girardi. This keeps getting worse as I read, and I'm like, maybe I should have read this before getting on this because it's shocking to me. We are reacting to this together, guys, because this is shocking to me. Okay. A check was dispersed to Tom Girardi, or maybe to Erika Girardi, who knows, for $214,000 on April 26, 2019. $1 million on April 12th, 2019, and $300,000 on April 10th, 2019. A true and correct copy of Gold's written misrepresentations is attached in Exhibit D. Courtney was included in these communications and never corrected Gold that the money had in fact been dispersed. On July 14, 2022, plaintiff discovered this fraud and that her settlement funds were dissipated within days upon receipt. I don't know if you can necessarily say that because her check was for $954,000 and this actually spends more than that money. So I'm assuming that she's assuming that this money was hers. I would need more information. Okay. Plaintiff repeatedly demanded that Girardi remit the remaining settlement funds that she was owed pursuant to the terms of the settlement agreement. Girardi personally promised plaintiff that she would receive the money, assuring her that the money was safe in undisclosed account investments. Nobody told you to invest my money. What are you talking about? They're in account investments. No one told you to invest my money. You're a law firm. Here we go with the investments. We talked about this in the last case. All right. So let's see. We have a super chat from Christine Math Nerd. I don't know if I'm saying that right because it's all pushed together. Christine. Okay. We're going to go Christine Math Nerds. We're going to say it like that. Okay. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Sorry I could not pronounce your name correctly. I've been tracking the Girardi scandal for 2 years. It is bad, more detailed than these docs. Erika is selfish and indifferent to victims suffering. Yeah, so we covered the last lawsuit. I haven't been keeping up with it the whole time because, as we know, we have Emily D. Baker, who is on the cases on her channel. So I mostly just watch her. But with these new cases, I was like, I'm interested in these cases. So that's why we're also covering them over here. But if you want to go back a couple of years and listen to the actual complaints and documents and things like that, Emily D. Baker has the video. So yes, I'm happy that you're familiar with the case, and feel free to drop in any information that you think that we're missing from the case. And we definitely appreciate you for the super chat. Always always love the support of the channel. Thank you so much. All right, we have Hella Swanky saying, OMG, I just noticed there are captions available. That never happens for other people's lives. LOL, I'm disabled. Self greatly appreciates it. No problem. So I think it was probably about 2 months ago, the stream actually told me that I need to put the captions on. So the stream actually taught me how to do it on live stream. So I am happy that it is helping you, because I come on here every time before I stream and make sure that I turn on closed captions ever since that day. I think I've probably missed one stream. So you are very much so welcome. I'm happy that it is helpful, but you do have to turn it on. So if you want your other streamers to do that, make sure to tell them to turn it on, because you guys got me. You guys for sure got me up to speed on it. All right. All right. So we have, let's see here. Boom. Where were we at here? Okay, let's get into they invested her money without her permission. On December 18, 2020, involuntary bankruptcy proceedings were initiated for both Thomas Girardi Keys, in this case number. The bankruptcy filings show that Girardi Keys owes more than 100 million to creditors, including Tom's personal injury clients, lenders, and other attorneys. So she is never going to get this money unless she sues these other attorneys, which is what she is doing. $100 million is what he owes. On April 4th, 2021, plaintiff filed Fulton v. Girardi in the bankruptcy, seeking to have her claim against Girardi declared non-dischargeable in the Girardi individual bankruptcy case. So she joined the bankruptcy case. On November 16, 2021, the bankruptcy court entered a non-dischargeable judgment against Tom Girardi and his conservator in the amount of $744,650, including $350 judgment in costs on plaintiff's Second Amendment complaint. They attached it to the complaint. On November 17, 2021, plaintiff filed an amended proof of claim as to the debtor Girardi Keys and debtor Tom Girardi to conform to the judgment. They attached it. Okay, why is it scrolling up when I'm scrolling down? What's going on here? Okay, plaintiffs recently discovered through bank records and other financial documents that the settlement funds were diverted to Erika via EJG, and the intellectual property and value transferred to EJG was transferred to PMI, which is Pretty Mess Incorporated, and then the EJ Global, right? Those are Erika Girardi's businesses, now have the funds that the law firm were supposed to have. Plaintiff is informed and believes that Girardi's client's case is settled. Girardi will receive settlement funds, and in turn, Tom and Erika will use those funds as their own assets. Tom and Erika will use those funds to pay for their lavish lifestyle. The funds were treated as community property. Erika used the money to pay off her expenses. For at least 12 years, all of her expenses were paid by Girardi Keys as she was generating them. No one withdrew money from the firm other than Erika. Oh my gosh, I am excited for these things to come out. I want to see all of this. I want to see all of this. The only person withdrawing money, this is a big allegation. The only person withdrawing money was Erika from the law firm bank account, and she's not a lawyer. That is a huge, huge problem. I really liked Erika. Maybe we're going to have to stop covering these cases. Ignorance is bliss, right? No, we're going to cover them because we want to know what she has going on here. Why is she spending all of this money? She married an older, rich man. That wasn't enough. She had to bankrupt his clients, not just bankrupt him. Oh no, Erika. I don't know. I don't think she's my favorite anymore at this point. Plaintiff is informed and believes that Erika had all of her expenses paid for by the firm directly. Over $25 million in expenses was just spent on her and the Girardi Keys books as EJG. Plaintiff is informed and believes that plaintiff's settlement funds were remitted to Girardi Keys and were misappropriated to support Tom and Erika's lavish expenses and their high-end lifestyle. The newly discovered documents show that Erika misappropriated plaintiff's remaining settlement funds. Again, I don't think she will be able to, she might be able to trace some of the money to her money, because if Erika was just taking the money out of the account as soon as it came in, then she probably will be able to trace some of that money as being her money, as being Christina's money. Okay. Plaintiff settlement funds were used to pay the balance of American Express credit cards and charge cards used by Erika, EJG, and later PMI. These were all personal expenses of Erika's being paid off using plaintiff's money from Nano Bank operating account. With all of this, I want to talk to Bravo. Are you guys not paying the Real Housewives? Like, how much do the Real Housewives make per episode? I'm going to have to look that up because, yeah, how much are they paying them? They can't be paying, if she has to spend all of Tom's money. Ay. Okay, let's go into it. In 2019, Erika, via her solely owned LLC EJG, received $407,058.19 from Girardi Keys. Her receivables grew as well. This is the same year plaintiff was to receive her settlement funds. Erika misappropriated plaintiff settlement funds. The facts speak for themselves. Plaintiff has not received any funds from Girardi since September 2020. Newly discovered evidence shows that Erika, using her shell entities, stole plaintiff settlement funds by having received stolen proceeds from the converted checks. This is how she supported her luxurious lifestyle. Bank records show that the settlement funds went to Erika. Erika used her shell companies EJG and PMI to hide assets and evade culpability. Plaintiff is entitled to the remaining settlement funds in the amount of $744,650. Plaintiff is seeking to recover her settlement funds that were used on Erika's expenses for Erika's benefit. So she's coming after Erika because she knows she's not going to receive any money from what Tom Girardi already owes to other people. $100 million in hers is probably close to the end of the list as a non-dischargeable creditor. So I see why she's doing what she's doing. I see why she's going after the attorneys, after Erika. Most of this is about Erika. I know she listed the other attorneys, but most of this is about Erika and her LLC and her incorporation, which she is basically saying we're going to pierce the corporate veil because Erika was acting as herself, buying personal things under her business. I really hope this wasn't Erika's idea. Tom, Erika, what's going on? Like, what's going on, guys? Seriously, what is going on? Oh, I'm just lost for words at this point. And so we're not going to go over all of the causes of action. They are just probably, or they are just really listing what happened or the law that they're citing, and then some of the facts that we already just went through. So of course, you guys can check out at the beginning of the live stream, not the beginning of the live stream, the beginning of this section where I listed off all of the causes of action. But wow, this is too much. It's too much for me. I am lost in my comments here. I'm trying to catch back up. Oh, it doesn't show me on live. What is this called? On StreamYard. I had saw something that said that Tanya D has been a member for 2 months. So congratulations for being a member for 2 months, which I also know that means that Jennifer has been a member for 2 months because I think you guys registered on different days. So let me speak correctly. Congratulations to all of the members of the channel who are crossing from the 1 month over to the 2 month, or if you're just new members of the channel, I definitely appreciate all the support on the channel. So thank you, Tanya D, for being a member. Thank you, Jennifer Miller, for being a member. And I know there are some other membership anniversaries or month anniversaries coming up. So thank you guys for being members of the channel. Definitely appreciate it. And showing up here on live stream whenever that you guys can. Most of you guys come like every time I'm live streaming, and I definitely appreciate that. It keeps me encouraged to keep moving forward. So keep being amazing, Bri Hive. Definitely love to see it. Okay. Let's see what the people are saying after that. Heartfelt. Can you guys tell I'm not used to being mushy? I really do appreciate you guys, but it's very hard for me to be mushy. Oh, where did my mouse go? All right. We have Hello Swanky saying Kristen is a math nerd. Thank you. Kristen is a math nerd. Okay, we got it right this time. Okay, Rebecca H says, can we really collect from EJ though? If we can pierce the corporate veil, yes. If EJ does not have any money, no. If they're piercing the corporate veil and suing Erika individually anyways, does Erika have any money? No, she's probably going to get bankrupt. The non-dischargeable debt was to Tom Girardi and the law firm. It wasn't to Erika. So if she goes bankrupt, she would then have to file as a creditor on that bankruptcy, and then that one could be deemed dischargeable or non-dischargeable. So yes, they can collect money from EJ if EJ has the money or if Erika has the money and they pierce the corporate veil. So we have Kristen is a math nerd. I got it together now. Saying Amanda, she put it in her book in TED Talk. Erika literally said she could be a lawyer because she knew the ins and outs. She knows the ins and out of their bank account, allegedly, is what these lawsuits are saying. But as far as being a lawyer, no, because a good lawyer would not be doing this, okay? Sage Moon says, Erika used to be one of my favorites on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but that's all changed seeing how she responded to the lawsuit and how the victims were / have been impacted. Just straight foul. Yeah. I don't think I've been keeping up with this as much as I should have been because, like I said, she was one of my favorites as well. But these cases are crazy. I should have been paying more attention for sure. Oh, I agree with you. Hello, Swanky says, unfortunately, most streamers don't care enough, at least from my experience, or they get annoyed when you ask. So that's always fun. So I just stopped asking. Yeah, this one, it automatically generates it. I hope it's accurate because I'm not doing it. It's just picking up my words as I speak. So it may not be the best, but I think I'm hoping that it at least helps out. But yeah, if you guys, the thing is, I don't see very well. So if there was something that I needed help with, I would hope that someone would help me. So I'm happy to help out anybody as good as I can, right? The most I can do. And clicking on a button, that's not hard to do. And so I'm very happy to go ahead and provide that for the people that come and support me every day. Or not every day, but every stream, right? It's not that hard to, make sure that other people are comfortable watching your content. Okay. And I want you guys to watch. So I'm going to do whatever I can to make it comfortable. So I'm happy that it's helping you. Vega said, do you think Erika would have known, though? Men like that often do things without the input of their women. That is another concern. But from what what both of these lawsuits are saying, because we did one lawsuit on Thursday and then a lawsuit today, and they're pretty much saying the same thing, is that Erika most likely knew. She most likely knew. I think I recall watching an episode saying that Tom funds her actual video productions and concerts and things like that. So based off of these lawsuits and the allegations and the amount of money she's spending and the fact that they're actually paying off credit cards, I think that, in my opinion, I think that she knew. At first, I said, okay, maybe she did not know, but now I think that she knew. There's no way you're spending millions. I guess he could have been lying and saying that they're making millions and millions of dollars, but that allegation of the only person spending money out of the account was Erika, if that is true, I am fully convinced that she knew. So I don't know. I guess we'll see as the lawsuits continue on. Kristen is a math nerd, says, I actually sent a few things from social media to Elderson PC that his firm hadn't been aware of previously. Oh, you helping out in the case. Okay. Okay. Amanda talking to Kristen is saying, as a total aviation nerd, I have the NTSB Carroll final report site bookmark. I am much more familiar with the tiny details of the actual Lion Air crash. Yeah, so that's the one that we covered. Well, one of the ones that we covered on Thursday involving the victims of the Lion Air crash. Vega says, how does Erika have the power to do that, though? to spend the money. She just charges whatever credit card her husband gives to her, and then her husband pays off the bill. Vega says, yes, but could her husband have just told her she could spend that without telling her where it came from? That's very possible. It is very possible that that's what's happening. And I think that's probably the defense that she's going to go with, that she didn't know. And it's possible. Like I said, she married a rich older man. Maybe he felt like he was losing her, so he had to give her more money, but he ran out of money and he started stealing from his clients. Could very much so be the situation. Do I believe it's the situation? That's going to be up for the jury to decide, right? It's going to be up for the jury to decide that they believe her situation. And although Erika has been one of my favorite housewives, her personality can come off as, like, I don't care. I don't care. And a jury is not going to like that. Just like the jury did not like Amber Heard crying. They will not like Erika Girardi acting like she doesn't care and that she didn't do it. And why are you asking me questions? So, but it's possible that she really didn't know. But is she going to be able to convey that to a jury? That's another question. Vega says, I'm not saying she didn't know, but I can't imagine Tom telling her anything either. Yeah, they didn't really talk too much on the show. So I can see what you're saying. We really won't know until more information come out. Hella Swanky says, oh, the housewives get paid, but not as much as people think. That's definitely not where their wealth or even most of their money comes from. It's a fraction of their income, which I am very sure that is true. Most of them, they're supposed to already have money. That's why they're featured on the show. But it sounds like someone may have been running out of money, i.e. Erika, according to what these complaints are saying. Hella Swanky says the smart ones used to show, to promote, and get exposure for their real money making ventures. Best example, Candy. Exactly. Yeah, I like Candy. She's doing a great job as far as being a housewife and staying out of trouble. You guys are coming in with a lot of comments, so I'm not going to be able to get to everything today. So let's go ahead and look at the prayer for relief. On this case, what are they asking for? Of course, they're $740,000, but what else are they asking for in this case? So, they split it up into causes of actions. Okay, yeah, we're not going to go through that actually because they're asking for different things for different causes of actions. Basically, they are asking for that $740,000 and then some other things, some accounting for them to basically declare that they did take the money and all of the things. So, we sped through that because we have another case to go over. So let me get a couple more comments on this one, and then we're going to go ahead and move on to Love is Blind. Love is Blind. Who watched that show? Did any of you guys watch Love is Blind? I know some of you have watched The Housewives, but have you guys watched Love is Blind? Vega says, Erika was super combative to anyone asking any legitimate question. That's a red flag. And I'm sure she's going to display that same behavior on a witness stand. So, yes, you are exactly right. Jane says, will Erika J be forced to liquidate damages? If they find her liable, they can force her to liquidate damages. But if they don't think she's liable, then she won't have to. So, there's that. Sabrina says, I definitely haven't heard about any of this. I don't follow Real Housewives, but I am loving the drama. Yeah, the drama is fun, right? The drama is fun. And that's why we watch reality TV, right? That's why we watch it. Same thing with the crumble comments on LinkedIn. Dav's Beat says, it's going to be funny when they bring up her show as evidence in court. Yeah. If she's saying anything, which it sounds like she has said some things. I haven't watched The Real Housewives in several seasons, so I don't know what she has been saying. I haven't been keeping up with it that well, but I've heard she has said some things that don't come off as pretty. Hella Swanky says, nah, your captions are pretty darn accurate. Closed captions on YouTube have gotten so much better in recent years. So yeah, Dev helps make a world of a difference. Thanks again. No problem. Happy that you were here, even though you didn't know we had the closed captions. So still definitely appreciate the support. We have Amanda saying the SODDI defenses. Some other dude did it. I don't know what you're referring to all the way there. You might have to spell out the abbreviation for me. Julia543 says, it's awesome you put the captions on. I don't need them, but I appreciate you taking the time to hit that button so everybody can enjoy your show. I hope more of other streamers do it. Yeah, I didn't know other streamers were not accommodating that. So I'm happy that it's helpful, and I'm happy that you guys appreciate it for sure. But they told me once and I was like, let me fix it. We have CM Letty saying she knows now and look how terrible she responded. I think she knew and didn't care as long as she got to spend money. I think that's where jurors are going to lean towards, honestly. These allegations are extreme, and the amount of money that they were spending is very, very extreme. And it's also, I mean, it's not too hard to imagine that you're not really speaking to your husband about finances when you're more of a, and this is my opinion, you're basically a trophy wife, right? So you just take the money and you spend it. So I can understand that that will probably be her argument and that she didn't have anything to do with it. And that's why she stayed out of the law firm. But are people going to believe her? I don't think so. I don't think so. Hello Swanky says, yeah, Candy will always be my fave. She's a smart one. Yeah, I want to go to her restaurants. And she does not really get into too much of the drama, but she's still a good character on the show. And she's admirable, honestly. Hello Swanky says, I've only seen the first season of Love is Blind. I've seen both seasons, and the they also had a, what do you call it? Like a catch-up season for the people that got married. Have you guys seen that one? I like Love is Blind. Jennifer says, I watch Observe and his partners react to Love is Blind and haven't watched it. Yeah. I love reality shows. I love dating reality shows, all of the things. Do you guys watch 90 Day Fiance? And I was watching Marrying Millions, things like that. Some of the stuff is like, okay, you guys have got to know this is not real, but some of the stuff it's great. It's great to relax your brain. Amanda says, nope, never seen Love is Blind. I'm always up for legal allegations and shade and spicy footnotes. Yeah, we haven't really gotten any footnotes in the last couple ones that I've had. Honestly, I'm trying to check and make sure I didn't miss it. Yeah, we haven't really got any. Let me go ahead and put my bookmark in there. Put in the bookmark in there because I'd be forgetting. Yeah, we love the allegations and the drama. The drama it is. Okay, and we have Kristen saying Bravo's most successful shows stars Black women. Yeah, but the other franchises are so problematic. The racism is not even hidden. I can't watch it. I get mad and yell at the TV. Yeah, you have that, and you have a bunch of them with all of these lawsuits against them. Not only are you being racist, but you have you're doing illegal things, right? Seven Sar says, I've watched Love is Blind. The seasons get repetitive, so I stopped watching. I thought there's only been 2 seasons. Yeah, it could be repetitive. I mean, because it's the same type of situation. Oh, there's been like other, what do you call it? Love is Blind in like other countries. So I watched Brazil, I think. And it was Brazil. I think that was the other one. Amanda says some other dude did it is the breakdown of Saudi. Oh, okay. Saudi. AG or EJ will be using that defense like Shaggy. Like Shaggy, it wasn't me. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I was like messing over the words. Yeah, they're basically saying it wasn't me. That's what she's gonna say. Is, oh, Tom was just paying off the cards. How was I supposed to know he was using his law firm things? I wasn't there. I don't know. Hello Swanky says, oh, Observe is so good. That's how I've seen clips from other seasons of Love is Blind. Tanya says, I'm with you, Hello Swanky. As a therapist, I hear enough drama in my daily life. That is also true as well. But when it's not drama you have to deal with, I like it. I know I deal with drama with my family law clients, but when I'm watching it on TV, it's definitely not as bad. Hello Swanky says, I see 90 Day Fiance sometimes. because my granny loves that show. That's a little bonding activity for her and my mom's. Yeah, I love 90 Day Fiance. Me and my fiance watch 90 Day Fiance. Okay. I hit the bookmark, but I got to hit the bookmark again because we're actually going to start the Love is Blind case now. Let's actually start it because we have been on for almost 2 hours. The live streams are getting longer. Not on purpose, but there's just so many cases. There's so many cases coming out, and I want to make sure that I'm covering cases that you guys are actually interested in and that are actually interesting to me as well. So let's get into Love is Blind. Love is Blind. All right. So we have Mr. Jeremy Hartwell suing as an individual and on behalf of others who are similarly situated, which basically means that this is a class action lawsuit and that people can join in if they feel like they have also been wrongly treated by Netflix. Who is he suing? He is suing Kinetic Content, which is one of the producers of the show, Netflix US LLC, Netflix Inc., Delirium TV, and those for business entities and other people that are unknown. Okay, basically. And then let me make this a little bit bigger and say plaintiff's class action complaint is for, this is what he's suing for in LA County. He is suing for failure to pay overtime wages, failure to pay minimum wage, liquidated damage for failure to pay minimum wage, failure to provide accurate and itemized wage statements, failure to provide uninterrupted meal periods, failure to provide uninterrupted rest periods. I don't know why it keeps scrolling up every time I scroll down. Sorry. Failure to provide uninterrupted rest periods, failure to provide wages promptly upon termination, unfair business practices, and the Private Attorneys General Act. And so, just as a brief little introduction, they are basically suing for not being paid enough and then some other unconscionable things within the contract. And then the producers have actually slightly responded, not all the way, but partly responded online saying that they're going to defend against this action and that this guy that is actually suing was only on the show for like a week. And so why is he bringing this lawsuit? So we can all speculate as to why he's bringing this lawsuit. As we know, a lot of these shows, they generally produce for people to become influencers and a lot of people following them and keeping up with their lives. And maybe he just didn't get that result. And so now he's suing. That would be my assumption. I don't really know if that's his real motive for suing, but it could be. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the introduction. We're going to go ahead and cover that. And then let me double check because I did briefly look over this. And it's a bit, we're going to go over the introduction and then we'll go into what he is suing for. Okay, so here we have it. We have introduction. Plaintiff brings this class action on behalf of himself and class members and aggrieved employees who consist of any person who applied for or participated in all non-scripted content produced in California by Netflix. So not just people that participated on Love is Blind. He's suing for anyone that participates on any of these types of non-scripted reality shows for Netflix, right? The class period. And so he's establishing this period for the people to join in who also feel like they were wrongly treated. The class period is designated as the time from 4 years prior to filing this complaint through the trial of this action based upon the allegations that the violations of the labor code described herein have been ongoing since at least 4 years prior to the date of filing this complaint. By way of example, the class member or aggrieved employees consist of employees who were misclassified as independent contractors or held job titles such as contestant, participant, cast member, and similar job titles, and individuals who applied to be a cast in such position of the reality TV show, including Love is Blind. So this is the Love is Blind lawsuit. Defendants operate production and distribution businesses employing class members for content on television and streaming services. Defendants employ these workers and are aware of and ratify the employment conditions of these workers to perform various tasks, including acting and participation in content production, filming their daily lives on and off set, participating in interviews, and promoting television series through the social media and public appearance. Defendants willfully misclassified employees as independent contractors despite defendants exercising substantial and excessive control over the manner, means, and timing of the work performed by class members and aggrieved employees. These individuals were in reality employees entitled to protections under the California law. So basically, they have to establish that they are employees in order for these employment laws to apply to them. Otherwise, his lawsuit is kind of pointless because you can't establish that they are actually employees and entitled to minimum wage and things like that, not independent contractors, as they contract say, and as this plaintiff is trying to allege that they were not. So let's see here. Defendants maintain excessive control over virtually every aspect of the lives of the show's cast, including exerting complete domination over their time, schedule, and their ability to eat, drink, and sleep and communicate with the outside world during the period of employment, and restricted their ability to engage in a multitude of activities that defendants forbid both during the period of employment and thereafter. In doing so, defendants created and maintained unsafe and inhumane work conditions for the cast of the show. Defendant unlawfully required class members and aggrieved employees to agree in writing to terms and conditions which were expressly prohibited by California law in violations of the labor code. Defendants required all cast members and possible participants of production to agree as a condition of employment to a purported contractual agreement containing several provisions which defendant knew or had reason to know were unlawful. Notably, the purported contract unlawfully mandated that class members and aggrieved employees pay so-called liquidated damages of $50,000, which in effect an excessively large and retaliatory penalty if they were casted and left the shows prior to production or otherwise breached their purported contracts with defendant as a scare tactic to exert further control and maintain cast members' compliance during production, required by class members and aggrieved employees to waive their rights to pursue virtually any cognizable claim against defendant before such claims doom. Okay. So the liquidated damages one is a contract claim they're saying was in their contract to be a part of the shows. Basically, if they did not participate in the shows or they left early or they didn't want to do what the production told them, they would have to pay Netflix or whatever production company $50,000 in order to leave the show. The reason for liquidated damages is to kind of assess what the company would lose if something went wrong, right? So if you didn't do the show, they would basically lose $50,000 for your absence on the show. And the plaintiff is basically saying this provision made people scared to speak up for themselves. This is liquidated damages are not illegal provisions. It just depends on whether they are excessive or not. So Netflix would need to show why they think that if someone left the production, they would have lost $50,000. If they are unable to prove that, then the provision will basically be considered unconscionable. So $50,000 for average people is probably a lot to have somebody pay just to be a part of the show. And so the plaintiff will basically have to prove that, and Netflix will have to prove that $50,000 was reasonable for the type of show that they are doing. Okie dokie. Defendants failed and continue to fail to compensate class members and aggrieved employees for all hours worked, including minimum wage and overtime, as a result of maintaining a practice of requiring class members to work up to 20 hours per day, 7 days per week, while paying them a flat amount of $1,000 per filming week. Resultantly, these workers were earned effectively as little as $7.14 per hour, which is less than half the applicable minimum wage rate of $15 per hour, less than 1/3 of the minimum overtime rate of $22.50 per hour, and less than 1/4 of the minimum double time rate of $30 per hour, pursuant to this applicable Los Angeles City and County Minimum Ordinance. Defendants failed and continue to fail to pay all formerly employed class members and aggrieved employees for their compensation due at termination as required by the Labor Code, in part because defendant failed to continue to pay wages for all hours worked by each class members and aggrieved employees, including regular wages, minimum wage, and overtime wage. Basically saying that they worked them too much for the amount that they were actually being paid. Defendants failed and continue to fail to furnish accurate and itemized wage statements showing, among other things, the total compensation due to class members for each period, in part because defendants maintain a practice of not providing wage statements, which makes sense. If you are an independent, oh no, how do I block these people? I'm getting spammed. Sorry, guys, I'm being spammed. Oh, are they gone now? No. Sorry, guys, I got spammed from someone asking if we're alone. Thank you, Hella Swanky, for catching those. I'm trying to report it and remove it. Okay, so you guys can't see it because Hella Swanky already removed it. Sorry about that. That was a little strange, but I wanted to try to get rid of those. I reported it, and it should be gone now. Thank you very much, moderators, for catching that for me, because I was reading, and not paying attention. All right, let's see. Where were we at here? That was like hard to find what the peeps are actually saying. Okay, let's see. We have Sabrina saying, oh, then maybe we will get BTS contracts. And so I've seen a couple of people report on this, and they're thinking that Netflix is going to basically settle this out so that they don't have to release their contracts. I personally hope that they don't settle it out so that we can read their contracts. That's what I would like to see happen. Amanda says, since Netflix is involved in the lawsuits recently, I'm thinking of starting a suit against them for not doing a season 2 of Archive 86 after they said they were, and ended it like that. Evil Netflix. I do not know that show, so I cannot feel your pain on that one. Rebel Jade Spire says, this reminds of all the stories coming out now about the first few seasons of Top Model. Yeah, there are kind of a lot, let me not say that. There were 3 lawsuits filed from June to now, like June 2022 to now, against Netflix for employment violations. So people are coming out of them. So I'm assuming at some point these contracts are going to come out and we're going to be able to see what they're actually writing in there. Rebecca says, kind of a brilliant lawsuit. It's a good idea. If he can prove that they're actually employees instead of independent contractors, I think that he has a chance. But if he can't prove that, then he probably won't have a chance. As he pointed out, they're not providing wage statements because they didn't keep wage statements because they were paying a flat rate per week. And so generally for an independent contractor, that would be okay. On the other hand, for an employment, a waged worker, they would need to provide those timestamps unless it's an exempt employee, which these are probably not exempt employees because 1, they're only being paid $1,000, and 2, it's not the type of like executive work that an exempt employee would have. So if he's able to prove that they're employees, then sure, good lawsuit. If he cannot prove that, I don't know. This might be a waste of time and money. Okay. Defendants failed and continue to fail to provide legally mandated off-duty meal periods and rest periods because, among other reasons, defendants maintained a policy and practice of failing to provide meal and rest breaks to cast members until well past their 5th hour of work, and then even when purported provided a requiring class member to work or remain on call during meals periods and rest periods that were provided. Defendants failed and continue to fail to pay all premiums for the meals and rest period violations. I'm sorry, guys. I'm taking a break because I want to eat food. 1 second. I am making a chicken request to the fiance. Make my chicken request. Okay. So basically this part is just saying, under California law, and I'm sure under other states' laws, in order, when you have an employee and they're working more than 8 hours, you have to give them a lunch break that is at least 30 minutes between the 5th and 6th hour. And if they work even longer than that, then there's other break requirements that you have to do, such as you have to give them a 10 or 15 minute break in between with that lunch break, and then another 15 minute break like 2 or 3 hours after that. So there's laws put into place that you have to give people their breaks, in which the employer does not bother you during those breaks after a certain amount of times. And what this person is alleging is that they did not do that. Again, if these people are considered independent contractors, this does not hold up. If they're considered employees, this will hold up. If they're independent contractors, they should have been able to tell Netflix, like, hey, I'm on break, leave me alone. I'll get back to work when it's time to get back to work. But that's why the plaintiff is saying, no, we were actually employees because we didn't have the right to do that. Okay, I am losing my voice. Let's see. Okay, by the predicate violations of law described above, defendants also violated business imperfection code. Plaintiff, on behalf of himself and the class members, seek unpaid overtime compensation, unpaid minimum wage, waiting time penalties, statutory penalties, restitution, declaratory and injunctive relief, attorney's fees and costs, prejudgment interest, and other appropriate relief. Plaintiff alleges that these acts violate California labor code. In this action, plaintiff, on behalf of himself and all aggrieved employees, and as a private attorney general on behalf of the state of California, seeks all civil penalties that may be pursued under the California laws. I'm not going to keep reading that. Okay, they go on to break down the actual parties and jurisdiction, and then they go on into the factual allegations. Again, he has already alleged that they are actually employees and not independent contractors. This is probably going to have a little bit more detail of why he believes that he was not an independent contractor. Again, a lot of the allegations are going to focus on that point. And I'm just scrolling through because it's going to have a lot of the same brief points that we already covered, but we're not going to cover it because it's too long. And we're going to jump into the causes of action. Let's see what the peeps are saying here. I know we're winding down. We have Rebecca saying, part of how the reality dating shows get their drama is from sleep deprivation and isolation. And so I haven't followed any other cases like this, but yeah, there are a lot of allegations like that, especially with like, what is it called? You're the One, or Are You the One on MTV, and some other shows like that. So I'm wondering if this has already gone to trial and if they feel like they have a pretty strong argument here. This is my first lawsuit that I've seen like that. Tanya D saying, already done. Thank you for helping me out with the spam. Sabrina says, it's okay. That's what your awesome mods are for. Exactly. They handled it quick. Jennifer says, thank you, other mods, for catching spam. I was making plates. That's all good. It's all good. Amanda says, yeah, I reported a couple and tried to remove them. Yeah, so they did get reported. And I think they weren't showing for you, but it was still showing on my end. Okay, we have Hello Swanky saying, yep, in uncomfortable environments like a bad girls club, they turn off the AC in the house and say it was broken, give them a bunch of liquor, and then tell someone was talking mess. Yeah, they have to get their drama. They have to get the content that the people want to see. Did they really need that type of content on Love is Blind, though? That would be the question. Because I feel like there wasn't a lot. Oh, I guess when they were like in the rooms talking to each other and when they're like saying wrong things, they could be a little bit upset. I guess you can use that tactics on Love is Blind. All right, let's see. I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired. Okay. First cause of action, failure to pay overtime wages. After 8 hours, they're supposed to pay in time and a half, basically. And they didn't do that. And they were working more than or up to 20 hours a day, according to this plaintiff. Failure to pay minimum wage. As they said it earlier, the minimum wage in Los Angeles was about $15 an hour. So they should have been receiving that amount of money, is what this guy is alleging. Liquidated damages for failure to pay minimum wages. It's basically alleging that since they violated the law, they're entitled to liquidated damages for that. Failure to provide accurate itemized wage statements. They didn't keep track of their time because they were paying them as independent contractors. So they are also suing for that. We have failure to provide meal breaks in violation. We kind of talked about that earlier. After 5 hours, you have to give your employees a break. Same thing for the rest breaks. If you're working a 5-hour shift, then you get one 15-minute or 10-minute break, depending on what the company is. And then if you're working longer than that, then you get more breaks the longer you work that day, the more breaks you get, okay, for those given hours. And then we have failure to pay wages promptly after termination. Under California code, you have to pay 72 hours after terminating the contract. That is correct. And they're basically saying they did not do that. Unfair business practices against all defendants. I didn't read this part, so let's say. Prohibits unfair competition in any form, unlawful, unfair, or fraudulent business practices. They also cite, sorry guys, I'm choking here. Also cite allows any person who has suffered injury in fact and has lost money or property to prosecute a civil action for unfair competition of law. So basically, since they were not paid, they're filing this lawsuit, and then also misclassifying them as independent contractors was also a violation of this code. And then the Private Attorneys General Act, which basically says, I read this earlier, but I completely forgot what it was. They're asking for attorney's fees for basically violating these labor laws. So a lot there. And then we have plaintiff's prayer for relief. What are they asking for? A lot of things. They want their money. They made an attachment of the letter that they sent to them, but basically they want their money for not properly being paid. So what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about this? I didn't give a good introduction to this case because your girl, I don't know why I didn't. But what do you guys think about this case? It seems like some of you think it was a good case to bring forward. I think it's going to be very interesting to see if they're able to prove the independent contractor. And it makes me wonder if other companies have already settled lawsuits like this or have already tried lawsuits like this to determine whether this one is going to be successful. We have Amanda saying, if anyone has not seen Archive 81 and likes a good thriller / mystery with some mythology mixed in, so good. Okay, we got a recommendation coming from Amanda for a show on Netflix. Are we giving Netflix more? Are we giving them more money after we're reading their lawsuit? We have Jennifer saying, eat, gotta feel that super brain. Yep, that's what I'm suffering from right now. Not eating and talking, out of breath, all the things. And we're gonna log off in a moment here. We have Hello Swanky saying, I'd be very surprised if he can prove they're employees, but stranger, wilder things have happened. Yeah. Interested to see how this plays out. I'm assuming Netflix is going to try to settle fast like NASCAR because they do not want those contracts coming out. They do not want those contracts coming out at all. Rebecca says, I kind of feel like it's a push to change these practices on set. Yes, that is also a good way to get some things changed. But if they settle, they're not going to change those things. So we want this thing to go to court. We want this thing to go to court. So one, we can see the contract, and two, so that maybe they can change some of these things, because a lot of complaints have been coming out over the last few years of similar situations. We have Daz Beat saying, you're doing great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am glad I can fake it till I make it, because your girl is tired. Amanda says, hello, Swanky. I kept my grandfather's last name since he was like my dad growing up. The name originates from Azores, so anyone with that last name is related. Awesome. I think I messed it up, so I just start calling you Amanda now because I don't want to mess up your name. All right. We have Jennifer saying the reality shows like to use alcohol to create drama too. Yeah, they use anything they can to create this drama for us, right? Amanda says no reality TV show with the word love is in it is ever going to be about anything other than alcohol and drama. Now I feel guilty. I feel guilty for watching it. Jane says, sorry, had to take a call. I missed details about the lawsuit. It's okay. The replay is available. We love to have you guys here live, but as always, the replay is available. That is going to take me to, if you guys have not liked the video yet, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Help us out in the algorithm. Let's get some more friends here in the Bri Hive. Also, subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. All right. We have Hella Swanky talking to Amanda. So we're going to kind of skip over that. And we have Jennifer reminding us to go ahead and swarm the like button and the like, subscribe, and join buttons. Thank you for being a part of the Bri Hive. Yes, definitely thank you for joining us this evening and coming with some great comments. Tonight with some really great comments. We got a lot of information, a lot of opinions going on. So thank you guys for being here. We definitely appreciate the support. We have Hella Swanky saying, I feel like the sets of most reality shows are a mess, just constantly filled with unethical things and labor violations that most participants just put up with to be on TV, which is one of my theories behind this case. Is a lot of people that do these reality TV shows, they expect to get something out of it, maybe like a huge Instagram following or TikTok following, and then they make money after that from being on the TV show. Sounds like this guy didn't find love. He was only on the show for a week, and his Instagram account probably did not blow up. I definitely don't remember this guy, but it has been a couple of months since I watched the show. But his face does not ring a bell to me, which likely means he did not get a lot of screen time, which likely means that his social media presence did not blow up, which likely means he did not become an influencer and is making more money like that. So most of these people probably agree to the $1,000 a week because they know after the show, especially if they find love, they're going to be making way more money than that by doing sponsored posts. So you agree to it and then you find out that you didn't get that benefit, and so now we're suing. Is that the situation? Or is this something that really needs to be corrected? It's probably both. It really needs to be corrected, but it also might have a tad bit of, I'm mad that I didn't really get a career out of this show. Or he could have honestly been looking for love. Maybe. But those are my theories. My theories, my opinions only. Sabrina says, it'd be a stretch to see them classified as employees, but I doubt it'll be anything other than a settlement. I wanted to go to trial. Don't put the doubt out there. But yeah, they don't want this information coming out. They do not want it coming out. But like I said, I can look into the other complaints. There were 3 lawsuits filed with similar allegations within the last month. So it might come out one way or another if someone's not willing to settle. Okay, we have Amanda. I have a problem whenever large corporations take advantage of that independent contractor BS. Yes. With everyday working people, it's so maddening. Pay the people that make you money. Exactly. I understand saving costs, but at the same time, we got to pay people at least what they're worth. This is definitely underpayment for sure. If they had their own business, different story, which a lot of the people do come out with their own business at the end of this because they become influencers and things like that. So Netflix may have some arguments. This company may have some arguments. They could choose to settle. But even if they really want this thing to go to trial, they really can take it to trial. If the plaintiff is not willing to settle, then it goes to trial, jury trial. So we'll see what happens, but it just takes so long for things to get to trial. All right. We have Sage Moon saying, thank you, Bri. Thank you, Bri Hive. Have a lovely evening, everyone. So glad some new folks joined us tonight. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep the Bri Hive thriving, y'all. Yes, thank you so much, Sage Moon. Thank you for joining us. Pretty much the whole stream, right? We've been streaming a long time today. We have Hello Swanky saying, oh, great point, Bri. He probably feels shafted. Yeah. He probably wanted his 15 minutes of fame, Elaine Bredenhoff voice. Okay. I'm here for my 15 minutes of fame, but guess what? He's going to get it now because everybody knows him as the guy that's suing Netflix for Love is Blind. They probably don't know what he's even suing about, but they know he's suing because of Love is Blind. Amanda says both. It does need to be corrected. This could be a bellwether like the McDonald's coffee case to force changes. Exactly. So it's completely up to the plaintiff whether he's going to want to settle. It's completely up to Netflix whether they're going to want to offer him a settlement. Can this man afford this lawsuit if Netflix decides not to settle and they win? I don't know. But I don't see them I don't know. I don't think they can prove that this, you know what? They may be able to prove that they are employees, temporary employees, but maybe employees nonetheless, because they're hired for a short amount of time, but Netflix is controlling their ability to work, where they go, things like that. Of course, like I said, I've never looked into a case like this. So all of this is just kind of me thinking about the employment laws, the labor laws that are coming to my brain, of course, without all the facts and things like that. But I think there's arguments on both sides as to whether they are employees or not. But California has been getting a lot stricter about who's considered an independent contractor and who's considered an employee. So I definitely hope that this case keeps going on. Like I said, there's some other cases. They're not in the media. So this is probably the one that we're going to have to look out for because it's actually getting coverage versus the other two cases that were filed in June and haven't really gotten any coverage. So there is that. Thank you guys for joining me today. I think we're going to try to check out that cookie case on Thursday, unless something else comes up. I did see that Kanye West has been sued for $7 million. So I might also want to look into that and see what's going on over there. My boy just cannot catch a break. So we will see what we are covering on Thursday. Let me know if you guys have any suggestions. Thank you for joining me live. I know the live streams are getting longer and longer, but eventually we want to make this into a robust show. So we want them to get a little bit longer and we want more friends to join us on the Bri Hive. So if you guys have not already, go ahead and hit the like button, the subscribe button. Go ahead and share this on your Twitter feed or your Instagram feed, whatever you have to spread the word about the Bri Hive. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. And I will see you on Thursday here live on the Bri